Good morning and welcome to another CAN Diagnostic video. In today's riveting episode we have a Mercedes-Benz C-Class w204. I came out to this last week for another garage, but they didn't want me filming because obviously they were struggling to film it, so they didn't want that on camera. It's a crank no start. It's a vehicle that they're selling, or supposed to be wanting to sell. They parked it up a few months back after doing some manual work on it, the tyres, exhaust, that sort of shit. And they couldn't start when they couldn't start it. They put a battery on it, still nothing, still won't start. Cranks, doesn't start. When I come out to it the other day, I had no communication with the diagnostic port. The fuse for the diag port was completely dead. There was a row of fuses in the SAM module that were dead. So I left it at that. Time to get the forklift under it, park it up, and I was going to come back to it today when I had a bit more time. I don't think this is going to be a quick and easy fix. I'll show you what it does. The first thing with the Mercedes with an electronic lock is make sure that, take the key out, make sure the steering wheel locks, put the key in, make sure it unlocks. That's the first step. That's the first thing we do, and it does. We could turn the ignition on, it cranks, but that's it. Won't start. There's no fuel coming in there. The injectors aren't opening, and they're not going to open. We've got fault codes for nearly every module you can think of on the dash. So I don't know how much of this I'm going to be recording because the weather's not great today. This last week's been the hottest days of the year so far in the UK. It's been reaching about mid-20s, which is extraordinary really for England, as you know. Sky looks like that 99% of the time. So I'm going to dive into this, see what we can find, see why we've got so many dead fuses on the SAM module, and I'll bring you in and out as I find stuff. See you soon. Right, so this is the SAM module here, all down the side of this fuse board. It's fuse 16 here, 5 amp, dead. So all of these are dead as well, this whole row here. If we take you to the other side, if we look at the ECU, it's been off. This has silicone at the side of the ECU, soft silicone. It's not the soppy silicone that's usually used. There's been signs of water ingress down there, but I can't see anything on the actual block of the ECU itself on the cover. So I think the first thing I'm going to do is either take the SAM out and check the pairs and grounds coming into the module, because I do believe that is the gateway on this, which is why I've got no communication and no anything at the diag port. Or I'm going to take this out here, which actually feeds the SAM module. I think I'm probably going to do that first. It just looks a bit easy to take out instead of taking the wipers off. And look what we have. We have diagnostics. Right, how I did it in the end is I took the fuse out for the OBD, put my breakout box on, put the power probe to latch mode, and gave the dongle device, whatever you call it, just gave it 12 volts direct. So we know the gateway from the OBD, from the gateway to the OBD is okay. I took that box apart, couldn't find anything wrong with it, all the fuses were good. So now we're just going to go through this. I'm probably going to go for a full code scan. And then just clear this straight off, to be honest with you, and see what comes back, because there's just going to be so many things. Oh, it's 20 in engine already. So they all seem to be power supply in the system's too low. Power supply of circuit 30G. Less than 75, less than 85 volts. The fuck? So that's two SAM modules. SAM is signal acquisition modules. You've got one for the rear, one for the front. The rear is like lights and things like that, usually. And the front does various things, engines mainly, some chassis stuff. Wait for it to finish. Has it already finished? Nope, there it is. Right, so it's saved, and I'm just going to go straight back and I'm going to clear these. If nothing comes back, which there's going to be fucking loads come back, but I've got it saved just in case. So I might prefer the Autel every day with the Zeus, but the Zeus is bloody quick, I'll give it that. I think I'll skip this for you. Right, a couple of these modules failed to clear for some reason, so we're just going to take note of which ones they were. Parktronic doesn't matter, tyre pressure doesn't matter, air condition doesn't matter, central gateway, steering column module failed. Right, we need to remember that one. And fuel pump, it might just because there was no codes in there, I can't remember. Right, let's go to the engine first. Right, so no cams received from the steering control module, from the ESP, air conditioning. Right, so no can from steering control module. Okay. Not too worried about the ESP at the minute. See if we can go to the steering control module now from that. Electric ignition switch, is that it? Nope. Steering column module. Yeah, go on then. Yes, key is on. Right, go for a code scan again. That's strange. So I'm just I know why. Took the fuse out tonight for the OBD. I wonder if that's got something to do with the steering control module as well. I think I'm going to go find the fuse, find exactly what that fuse does as well. These two are what I'm concerned about, the power supply of circuit 30G. Right, I'm going to go find out exactly what that means. Right guys, so we're getting somewhere now. It's a bit difficult. Every 5 minutes looks like it's about to start to rain, so I'll get my gear in and then it stops. Just typical England. Well, what we've got here is what's called terminal 30G, which is a relay that turns off after about 6 hours of the car being in sleep mode. It registers that there's no current being drawn by the modules, so like there's no doors opening, windows aren't, there's nobody sitting in the seat, all this sort of bullshit, and then it shuts everything down. So everything goes into like a hard reset. Well, I say everything, about 60% of the modules do, every 6 hours after the key's been off. There's no real way of me testing this other than it's a known fault, and obviously about 60% of our modules are currently down at the minute, or showing faults for this particular fuse. What we can do is we've got the F32K2 no load current shutoff relay in the rear SAM. So the rear SAM is going to try and turn this on or turn it off. Yeah, after about 75 minutes, after about just over an hour or so, the rear SAM checks to try and find a drain of about less than about half an amp, about 50 milliamps, then give a warning to the other modules that it's going to shut down. After the other modules have shut down, it will then shut this 30G off. So it does this without having to wait for it to shut off automatically, if that makes any sense at all. It's quite difficult to explain. If we start to activate that relay, bugger all happens. So I'm pretty sure at the minute that we've got a faulty relay here. All the fuses were good. When I took this out, all the fuses were good. The only thing I didn't check was this relay, because it's like a sealed relay. There's not really any way of getting into it that I personally know of. So as it stands, with all the relays being, half the fuses being dead, just no power, I'm about to call that relay. So there's a modified version of this that we can get. So I'm going to call that. I don't know if I want to put this video out before it gets fixed, replaced or what, I'm not too sure yet. Might do, just everyone likes to see a fix, but I'm confident this is our problem. Say, with half of these fuses being dead, the power comes from the front SAM, comes from this here, but if these are not turning on, if the relay's not turning them on, because it's still asleep, thinks it should still be asleep for whatever reason, then we're not going to get any power to our relays, to our fuses, or to the modules. So yeah. Right, just a few weeks down the line, I've been waiting for the garage to get the battery unit. I forgot what it's called, but I'll put it in. So what we suspected is that this 30G relay wasn't turning on. I'll take this back home. I'm going to have a play with it, open it up a bit more. Probably be a separate video. So I've put the new one in. Pain in the ass to fit, to be honest. It's a bit fiddly and I kept dropping my 10mm. Now, if you remember Right, I've lost my test light, so I'll go and find it again. And put away to efficient here. So the 5 amp bulb, power with the one side, power with the other side. Boom. Right, so I've checked the DLC, and we're also getting power there now. We also know, can you see, got a green light on the diagnostic. And now we can talk with it, we can communicate, as you can see. Glow plug relay has an open circuit. Not my problem. Well, it will be my problem, I suspect, but not right now. And watch this. Y voilà. It's muy perfecto, no? Vale. It's a bit lumpy. Obviously it's not been running God knows how long. Right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do another video, probably, I don't know if it'll come out before or after this, explaining the different terminals on a car, so your K15, your K30, your 31s, your 30Gs, your 30Fs, this sort of thing. Because after this video I tried to explain a bit how it works on this, and I don't think I did a very good job of explaining it. So I'll do a video explaining them a bit better, and of course I'll get that relay open at home. If there's anything interesting, I'll throw it at the end of the video. But if that's it, which I suspect it will be now as the car's running, until next time, ta-da.